Ladies, gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary, welcome to the Monday Discourse, or whatever this is, for today, September 19th, 2022. I'm your host, Tristan. Quick note before we get started. This is going to be a short stream. I'm only probably going to be able to go until about 12:55, so about, 50 minutes or so. Reason being just baby and meetings and stuff like that. Still on a waiting list for a what's it called? We're still on a waiting list for daycare, so my life is still a little chaotic when it comes to managing the little one. But yeah, welcome to the Monday Discourse. I am Tristan. I'm the host of Step Back, which you can find at stepbackhistory.com, or the co-host of It's Probably Not Aliens, the podcast that is returning this week after kind of some logistical weeks off due to some sponsorship weirdness. Anyways, all is salt on that front, so we'll be getting some new shows now. But you can check out that show at probsnotaliens.com. I stream on Mondays at noon, which is what you're watching right now. And if you want to support my work, you can go to patreon.com/stepbackhistory. Support for as little as 84 cents a month and get videos early. Get your input, get a special stream of Q&A videos and everything like that. If you want to, also channel memberships also are a thing, and are, welcome and encouraged if you feel like you want to use YouTube. And if you have Amazon Prime, Twitch has a special Twitch Prime thing where you help out the channel at no extra cost to you. It's just baked into your Amazon Prime membership. And if you have if you have some change lying around, things like Super Chats, bits, and Twitch subscriptions are all very, very much welcome. As far as content goes, my latest video, which came out last week, was on the 9/11 Truth Movement. It came out last Friday. It seems to be getting pretty well received. It got a little bit of spike in views on Sunday, but it seems that overall people like my what is my longest Step Back video to date, at a whopping 58 minutes. So that's fun. And yeah, that is wild. Furthermore, my next video is on the assassination of President James Garfield, which patrons should be getting this week. I'm supposed to be, anyways, filming tomorrow. I have to get the notes finished today, but who knows? That might not happen today. Today's a busy day, and so it might be delayed by a couple days. But this week, patrons should be getting it, and next week it should be going live for everybody. So look forward to that. I've got some fun cameos lined up for it, and yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think you guys will have a good time. Will that feature Quentin reviews, or did you not get that? Yes, it will have Quentin reviews. I have talked him into doing a segment where he is going to point out the distinction between President Garfield, the president, and the lasagna cat, because they're very easily mistaken for each other. So that's what's going to be about. And any update on It's Probably Not Aliens product or service? Yes, everything went through over the weekend, so there will be an episode airing this week. I don't remember which one we're doing because it's been a bit, but it will be good. I think it'll be really good. And I just saw an early version of the thumbnail for the President Garfield video too, and I'm pretty happy with that. So, gonna be my background noise while I work on Shirk applications. Well, crappy Cassandra, I hope you have better luck with those than I did, because I applied for Shirk like at least 3 times and I never got it. I think I got close in my 3rd year. They told me that I was just below the cut in my 3rd year when I applied for Shirk. So hope that whatever social science and humanities related research you're doing gets well funded by the government. Yeah. Yes. Oh, so I should probably continue with the introduction. If you want to submit questions for the stream, I'm going to put a link in the chat. But you can go to stepbackhistory.com/stream question and submit questions for the stream. Here, actually, why don't I should be able to just, use... I should have somewhere. Yeah. I'm just going to add it to the screen. I have it for when Mia's on, but I don't have it for when it's just me. So I'll just put it here. There we go. So now you can ask a question anytime you want. But yeah, go there, ask that. That's where I get them. It's very likely you get your question answered unless you're spamming. The only questions I don't answer are ones where either I don't want to put my privacy at... What is SSHRC? SSHRC is a government grants for social science and humanities research in Canada. So Cassandra must be a graduate student in the social sciences or humanities of some kind. Anyways. Very likely you get your question answered. The only thing that I try not to answer questions that are either where the question isn't a question or the question is just, here's the situation, am I a good person? Or just a question that is trying to get me to start drama. Those are like the kinds of things I avoid. Also, if there's anybody... You're applying for PhD stuff in history. Nice. What university are you doing history at, if you don't mind my asking? You don't have to share, obviously, but I'd be curious to know what university history departments... Oh, no. Sorry about that. My phone was making sounds. Okay. Let's see. Or I guess if you're applying for your PhD, then you probably are doing a master's somewhere. Anyways, if this is your first time, if you're what's it called? If you're currently doing an MA in Ontario, where are you doing your MA? I did my MA in Ontario. I went to Western. Anyways, if this is your first time watching, please say hello. We got a very supportive chat here, so say hello, be kind, support each other, that kind of stuff. Okay. That's the main thrust. Won't say, but not here in London. Fair enough. Okay. How is things going, chat? Aren't they... They're burying the Queen right now, right? I don't know. I haven't really been following it. Oh, the Queen died. That happened. And then, making memes about it got boring after about a day, so then I just kind of stopped paying attention to it. Because I don't exactly find the royal family all that interesting. Oh, boy. It's done? Oh, yeah, I forgot that... What's it called? It's like, what, 5 p.m. in the UK right now? So... Queen died. Or no, the Queen died. Yeah, so, what I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. So I should probably answer those since we are tight on time today. So I'm just gonna get that. Is today a day off in Canada due to the funeral? No, okay. They did the stupidest combination of actions ever. So the federal, I think I've mentioned on this stream a few times that Canada is a very decentralized country, right? So we have a federal government that's really weak, and all of the individual provinces are a lot more sovereign than the government itself. So here's the main thing. basically the federal government declared that this day, today, the funeral day, is a holiday so that people can mourn. And a bunch of other provinces signed on to that, but with caveats, because you can't have a holiday where capitalism stops. So what they did is they made, for example, Ontario made today a holiday for a day of mourning, but not the kind of holiday that results in people getting time off. Which makes me think that maybe government workers are getting the day off, but nobody else is. Because for some reason that was what Doug Ford decided was the right way to do things. And then in British Columbia, it's even worse, because British Columbia did a thing where they declared a day off where all of the schools are closed, but none of the businesses are. And so on a very, very short notice, parents are like scrambling to find daycare for all of these kids who have the day off randomly. But they still have to go to work because, capitalism still has to happen. There's no, that must, the spice must flow, et cetera, et cetera. So it's fucking bullshit, I gotta say. I just watched a 9/11 video this morning while doing laundry. Any conspiracies that Diana was killed by the Queen? I mean, that was a big conspiracy theory in the UK for a while, mostly because the Queen only hated Princess Diana, and was not super pleased that she was marrying like an Arab guy after divorcing her baby boy, now King Charles III. But I think that it grossly overstates the power of Buckingham Palace. That to think that the Queen has the power to order an assassination is kind of laughable. Although the idea that the Queen murdered Princess Diana is extremely funny, and making memes about the conspiracy is 100% acceptable and hilarious. So that's that. All right. First question we got here is from Cybercat or Pim Koramans. I have noticed in your latest video that you have a ball in the background with appears to be a human face on it. Hopefully fake blood. Is that a reference or something, or am I just missing context? You're talking about Wilso, the legally distinct companion volleyball that I have. This one. Right there, right behind me on there. Now, Pim, you're probably a regular viewer of Step Back. You might remember about a year ago, I made a video called "How Capitalism Makes You Lonely," and I used this as a prop. And it was Wilso, my legally distinct companion volleyball, which is actually a what's it called? It's an actual thing that you could buy in 2021 that is actual merchandise from the 2001 film Castaway. So what this is, I don't know. I know that the movie is like 20 years old now, so it's likely none of you have seen it. But there was a Tom Hanks movie called Castaway, where the plot is that Tom Hanks is a castaway. He's stuck on he's on a plane that crashes on an island, and he has to survive on his own on an island for years. And one of the things he does to stay sane is he finds this volleyball. And he gets a bloody handprint on it. And because the brand of volleyball is Wilson Volleyballs, he calls it Wilson. And he, it becomes like his actual friend. And there's like a scene in the movie where he loses it and he actually like mourns the disappearance of this volleyball. And so when I was talking about loneliness and capitalism in my video that I made last summer, that was the first thing that came to mind when I found out you can actually buy Wilson volleyballs. The weighted companion volleyball. Yes, exactly. Gosh, I was thinking about Portal actually the other day. Because I loved the humor in Portal 1 that was all just based around a artificial intelligence trying to think about what would motivate a human to do something. And I found everything about that was hilarious. Like the whole cake thing was like, like motivating humans like cake. We will offer them cake. And like, I don't know. And the weighted companion cube, like we're going to motivate them with emotional attachment. So we made a cube with hearts on it and said, this is your companion cube. It was great jokes. But yeah, that is a reference to, this ball was just the prop from my Loneliness and Capitalism video, and it's just Wilso, the legally distinct companion volleyball that I used in it. The other thing too, Pim, is I know that you're a patron, and if I remember correctly, I used most of the Wilso footage was for the Boxu ad that I did for that video, and you probably got the early ad-free version of the video, so you might not have seen some of the Wilso footage, but so it might have featured less in the backer version of the video. But yeah, good old Wilso. It's like part of my little collection that I'm just making like a museum of Step Back references. Like, I think I still have somewhere my my piece of cardboard that says "Will History for Food" that I did from my my Dinesh D'Souza video. I think I still have that. I think it's in like my closet or something. And I swear I have some other like Step Back memorabilia. I still have like all my pirate gear from the one-off joke that I did for the what's it called? The one-off joke about pirates for the Maroons video. And I think I also did one on I think I still have my hand puppets somewhere too from my I bought a pack of hand puppets and ended up only using 2 for my American Democracy is Basically a Fraud video. So I still have like a collection of these fun esoteric props from previous content. So it's fun. And yeah, you should do the search for my lost tweed jacket. I'm currently in the process of doing some major transmogrification of the size and shape of my body. So I'm not really in the mood for buying like a $200 or $300 jacket right now, but maybe next fall, because tweed jackets tend to go on sale in the fall. Maybe next fall when I'm like, hopefully a lot of kilos less heavy than I am now, then I will buy a tweed jacket that actually fits. That's the thing, is that the Step Back jacket, I don't even think I could wear anymore because it would be huge on me now. It wouldn't fit. So I'll have to just go buy a new one. Next question I got here is for Mia Mulder, so we're just going to skip it. So we're talking about this on Discord, but is it safe to say the Satanic Panic never went away, just went underground? Since its last peak in the 80s, you had Pokemon, Harry Potter, Sabrina, Goosebumps, Gravity Falls, Obama, and probably a bunch of other stuff I'm forgetting about called Satanic by preachers in the milieu. It's just become open again. I mean, yeah, it never went away. It's just that like in the 80s, the sort of like evangelical Christian argument was given a lot more of the time of day than it is today. Like the Satanic Panic in like the 80s had like the police involved. And like there are actual criminal proceedings by people who said that they witnessed satanic cults and stuff like that. And after the Satanic Panic showed that it was kind of full of shit. Yeah, there were definitely like reactionary weirdos getting mad at different cultural products, but you never had like the police banning Pokemon cards or something like that because they were associated with satanic cults. That never hit that level, I guess. But yeah, like, what's it called? Evangelical, like, hardcore Christians are going to, like, they're going to be, they call everything satanic, and they have been forever. They called Pokemon demonic because they didn't like that Pokemon evolved, when we all know that evolution doesn't exist, or whatever. I think that was it. That was the argument they made against Pokemon. Am I ever going to make a video about political lobbying? Maybe. Wouldn't be outside of the Step Back wheelhouse, that's for sure. So, like, I don't know what... Thing is, like, I need to be... So, I get this a lot. I get a lot of people who send me messages about videos that... First of all, sometimes maybe a little bit rude, although I understand because from the outside you might not have this perspective, but sometimes it's just like I take a little bit of umbrage of like people just like telling me, like I get a lot of comments and stuff like that, or just like commands to make certain videos. And in many ways, like, okay, like, dude, I gotta like, you know, work on these for like months at a time in order to get them going. Like, at the moment, I'm currently reading and doing research for like several videos that I don't even know when they're going to come out. And I'm like hardcore doing research for my next video that I'm researching in the research phase for that isn't coming out until like November sometime. So like, what's it called? Every video represents like months of research, which means I got to be like very passionate about the topic. And also at the same time, if I want a video to be successful, I have to have like a good angle on it. So if you are ever, like, I am not against people pitching ideas for videos to me. That's not the way that, commanding me to make videos on a topic, that is something that irks me. But asking if I'm going to make a video on a topic is fine, I guess, because I can just say, not at the moment is the answer. But if you want to have if you want to propose a project to me, just giving me a vague topic is not going to be as successful as, say, pitching me a story, or at least pitching to me why it would be relevant to my audience. Because I try to do two things with Step Back. I try to have solid core stories in every video so that there is some sort of thing that kind of drags you along, so it's not just like a dry history lecture, because I'm trying to make history interesting, and a lot of people have been sort of scarred by thinking that history is not relevant and it's boring. And two, it needs to have some sort of relevance. There has to be some sort of so what to this thing, because the whole idea of Step Back 2 is that it's supposed to be for helping you understand our current moment in a more three-dimensional way by understanding the sort of context behind everything. Those are the two things I strive to do in every video. I try to get at least one of them, if not both. And yeah, so like that usually happens. And so if you do have ideas for videos, definitely think about it from those two perspectives, because there are lots of topics that I would love to make videos about, and but like there's no like thing for me to attach it to. There's no story. There's no thing for me to like to make the so what for. Lobbying is one that would be a very good subject for a video if I had a specific thing to tie it to. Like, I've made videos talking about lobbying in various different videos that I've done over the years. But one like on lobbying, like if there was, say, a thing that happened in Congress that was very specific to lobbying, like something that specifically, like a very popular law that was struck down specifically because of lobbying efforts, maybe that would be worth it. But at the moment, like, you know, it would need to sit at the back of my brain for me to consider, basically. Because, like, I've been trying to work on a video on red-brown alliances and, what's it called? And, like, the LaRouche movement and this sort of, like, weird uptick in these sort of, like, reactionary leftists, like Caleb Mopin and Peter Coffin and, like, Angie Speaks and stuff, who are, like, trying to combine, like, right-wing reactionary, sometimes bordering on fascist stuff, or, like in the case of Mopin, getting very close to, like, all open Holocaust deniers, while trying to marry that with socialist politics. And I'm doing it, and now I think I have the main thrust of it, which is that it's going to be about why the political compass is full of shit, and we should stop thinking about politics as a Cartesian plane. But that's not my next video. That's not even the video after my next video. It is the video after the next video at this point it's like that video is slated to come out maybe in December. So, yeah. You really appreciate Tristan's conspiracy breakdowns. Well, thank you. Yeah, the success of It's Probably Not Aliens, and also the positive response to my 9/11 truth video is definitely going to inform me, you know? It does seem that is a thing that people want me to do more. And so I might start adding some more conspiracy breakdowns into my future videos, because it does seem to be a thing that people want, which is good, because I plan next year to do a JFK assassination video. So I'm actually thinking, and you guys can tell me what you think about this. But is Angie still on that racket? I actually don't know. I haven't seen anything from... I blocked Angie like a year ago, and I haven't seen anything that she's been up to since. But I have I have an idea for my because I'm doing, like, I don't know if anyone's picked this up, mostly because I've only ever done one, but I'm planning on doing a very long-term series on all of the presidential assassinations. I did one in 2020. I'm doing another one this year. It's going to be my next video. And then I'm doing one in 2023. And then I might do another one in 2025. And I was thinking at one point that I might do... If I'm going to do the next year, next November, I'll probably end up doing the JFK assassination. That's my plan, is to do the JFK assassination video in November of 2023, because that's the 60th anniversary of the assassination. So, you know, it feels good. But I was thinking that I might do sort of like a two-parter, where I do part one, what actually happened with the JFK assassination, and then do a second video that is just like the inevitable video I have to make, because I have to respond to all of the conspiracy theory claims about JFK. So that would probably be the angle that I would go down. Oh, man. Would that video, would that series include attempted assassinations? No, I feel like that would go for... There have been so many more attempted assassinations of the president than there have been successful ones. I just want to do the 4 presidents that actually have been assassinated. I did McKinley in 2020. I'm doing the Garfield assassination as my next video. Should be coming out next week for YouTuber. Should be coming out this week for patrons, next week for YouTube, for our patrons and people on Nebula, and next week for everybody else. And then I'm going to be doing JFK in 2023, because that's the 60th anniversary of the JFK assassination. And then I think in 2025, I plan on doing the Lincoln assassination, which I think is like the 160th anniversary of his assassination or something crazy like that. So, yeah. Something in that vein. That's my plan. Anyway. So, you know, that's my shtick. That's what I'm going for. Okay, so let's see what the next question we got here is. Are there any examples of amateur historians contributing to academic discourse through publications? I'm an academic in another discipline and interested in contributing to history course specifically to my discipline, but don't know if that process is as gatekeepy as outsiders in the science discipline is. I mean, I can't, like in the academic discourse, probably, I feel like, Nick, if this was a project that you were sincerely planning on doing and you, wanted to, I feel like the best way to do that would be to team up with a historian, to team up with a professional historian who is in the same subject area, so that you guys can, work together to sort of marry the best of both disciplines. Like that is it's better to collaborate on those kinds of projects than, you know, just straight up doing like kind of like. Because there's a lot of cases of carpetbagging in the history discipline where people who don't study any history at all or aren't historians who come in, and because they're specifically people from STEM who come in and basically because they assume that science is more objective and therefore they are smarter and better than historians, that they can write a history from without having to read anybody else's work, and that it will just instantly be better. And then you end up making something like Guns, Germs, and Steel, which ignores a whole lot of context and ends up being a terrible book. And oftentimes when they can't get into the academic discipline, they go into the pop history field. But if you are planning on, taking the project seriously, then I would say that the smart idea would be to collaborate with another historian, who understands the field. And if you're doing something that has to do with science, like there are historians of science, there are science historians. I, for example, was a technology historian. That would be like, if I were to say like what the main area of history that I was in, it was the history of communication and mass media and technology. That was like my shtick. That was my specialty. But there are people who study history or the history of scientific history and stuff like that you could definitely, I would recommend talking to them and getting some ideas about where to work with from that. That would be my take. Did I watch the Queen's funeral? No, obviously not. I went for a walk. I went to Starbucks instead of watching the Queen's funeral because I wanted coffee. And I don't regret it at all. Is it better for you as a creator if I watch content using Premium or on Nebula where I'm subscribed? Probably Nebula. I feel like Nebula is overall the better option, typically anyway. So, yeah, I would say that is the best way to go at this point. Watching something on Nebula, and also you'll get a better product because if you have YouTube Premium, you're going to still be watching my video on YouTube that has the sponsorship and stuff. If you watch it on Nebula, there's no ad. And also now for videos in the future, I'm planning on having, what's it called? In the future, I'm planning on making my videos, or at least as many videos as I can have like sort of bonus content for Nebula / patrons. So if you have Nebula, you can see the bonus content and no ad, which I feel like would be good for you. Are the families even after Booth's offspring saved Lincoln's? I don't know what you mean by that. My cat's got chicken because the Queen died. I think my cats might be Republicans now. Sweet. Republicat. Anyways, let's see what we got next. Are there examples of... Oh, yeah, I already did this one. Sweet. Cool. Next. This one's from Mohammed Tawfiq Morshidi. If Canada were to remove the monarchy, it needs to be replaced with a Swiss-like federal council instead of a singular president. Thoughts? I mean, that would be cool. I have a feeling, though, that... the thing is, like, Canada becoming getting rid of the monarchy would be... It'll be a tall order. I think it's it's tough. Like it'll require changing the Canadian Constitution, and a lot of our law is designed to make it as hard as possible to get rid of the monarchy as they could make it. I still think it's worth doing because I think it's a project worth doing. But unfortunately, Canada. It seems like Canada is like politically lazy in a lot of ways. Like we really don't like changing things, and we tend not to do big projects. And so for the most part, like our politics, like anything that sounds too hard, we just won't do. And we're still kind of shocked because like 30 years ago, we tried to change the Constitution and it led to like a huge shit show. So, because Canada is basically being held together with like twine. And so anytime you try to fuck with the Constitution, like the provinces go crazy. Trying to think about what conspiracy follow-up video would need to come after the Lincoln assassination video. Are there Lincoln truthers? I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. I'd be curious. I wonder if there was at the time. Now that would be interesting to check. Anyways. Yeah, so, but what that does mean, I guess, is that if Canada were to get rid of the monarchy, if we were to do, like, the legwork of changing the Constitution and everything like that, it would probably mean that we could replace it with anything. I don't know if a kind of like Swiss-style federalism is what would work. The Swiss-style federalism works really well because it's a very small country, geographically. Canada is very big and already very decentralized. I do think that we would be stuck probably with something like a European-style republic. Like, my guess is that if Canada became a republic, or if Canada dropped the monarchy, we would become something kind of like Germany, where they have a president who more acts as like a goodwill ambassador, just because the institution of the governor general is still already there. So, like, we would just have it so that the governor general job is elected, and they would just be called the president, and they would just do the same things the governor general does, which is not a whole lot, and just leave kind of the rest up to the way that it works now. We'd probably still even call our prime minister the prime minister. We probably wouldn't even go to like chancellor or whatever is the proper term. But so if Canada were to become a republic, that just feels like the easiest sort of government to transition to. If Canada were to dump the monarchy, that would be easy. Like moving to something that was a lot more hard, like it'd be easy to just become a republic because then our government and institutions would work pretty much the same as they do now. And so that would just be the easiest way to just dump the monarchy. But like anything else would require like a massive change in the way our politics works. And like, we have been trying for like my entire adult life to move to a proportional representation government, and our governments have no interest. No political party has any interest in doing that right now. Hey, 255, thanks for the 5 British pounds. If you're picking a topic for a thesis, is it better to go for something really broad, the cause of World War I, or something really specific, i.e. 1920s hat fashion? Are you talking about, like, it depends upon what you're doing it for. If you're doing like a high school essay, then broad is better because you're going to find more books that you can read, and you're not going to have to do a whole lot of primary research because, you'll be just reading textbooks and stuff like that. If you're in grad school, though, something really specific might just be required because you need to break new ground, right? And that means you need to be reading a lot more journal articles and reading a lot of primary sources and doing that kind of work. So that it really depends upon what you want to do, I think. That would be my call. I don't know exactly what, so really it depends a lot on the nature of the project. I don't know what this is a thesis for. If it's for undergrad, then you might need to go a little bit more specific because they'll expect you to read journal articles and stuff like that. If you're talking about for my videos, that really depends upon whatever I'm interested in. The first Canadian Empire. Oh boy. But yeah, Mohammed, thank you so much for that question. So you have a Socialist Rifle Association, which at least on Reddit was a pretty wild space online during various discontent around the pandemic timeline. That's not a question. Okay. What are some sources you'd recommend for someone who's going to try their hand at what you do? Thanks. Have a lovely day. Okay. So what I do, like making YouTube videos about history or just making YouTube videos in general. So the YouTube, I don't even know if this book exists anymore, but the most successful thing I had was a Tim Schmoyer book called 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel. That is what I use to get Step Back started up. Then in many ways, like, so trying to start in YouTube is complicated because there's no very specific way to be successful at YouTube, and everybody who proposes a rule is going to result in tons and tons of exceptions. That happens all the time. Like, I know YouTubers who are way more successful than I am who don't care at all about choosing the right subject for what their audience would like, and don't agonize over thumbnails and titles, and don't like hyper optimize everything. And they do just fine, you know. A lot of what I have, and there's also a lot of people on YouTube that are trying to sell YouTube advice, and they will give you just enough advice, but not give you anything actually concrete or actionable until you buy their expensive course. And I have never done any of those, and I would not recommend doing any of those. But in many ways, the sort of real tools that I would think of to make yourself better at doing the kind of work that I'm doing is like, there's a book I'm recommending that is Tiago Forte's Building a Second Brain. Because if you want to do the kind of work I'm doing, you need to be basically ingesting tons and tons of information and learning how to distill and sort it so that you can do research for various video projects. That's sort of the idea behind it. And so I would suggest starting there, honestly. And that's probably the best place to get started. A lot of it is about, and just, there's not a lot of guides or anything like that that are worth anything, because not only are the only people who know a whole lot trying to sell you stuff, but furthermore, the goalpost is always changing. YouTube is a very different place now than it was in 2015 when I started. And you kind of have to be aware. So you have to kind of approach it with an experimental mindset. Try different things. I guess the only other piece of advice I would have, if you really want to be successful, and the thing that I think I can credit for my success, is relentlessly networking. Constantly be reaching out to people, finding new people that you can either work with, that you can just bounce ideas off of. Just having a strong network of people who are in the same area as you to sort of pick their brain, get ideas, and think about it has probably paid more dividends for me than anything. Like the fact that I'm now part of Nebula is because I had like Nebula, what's it called? Nebula was a little apprehensive about taking me on because I'm so controversial or whatever. But I had so many friends who were in it who advocated for me on my behalf that they got me in. So always be, networking, collaborating, all that kind of stuff is still very important to sort of get your start. All right. How the hell were you controversial? Because I'm political, as they would have said. Because my videos have explicitly... I'm controversial. See, here's the thing. A lot of people in the audience know me from, like, the bread tube space, like leftist politics YouTube. And in that zone, I'm actually fairly tame. I'm pretty mild as far as that goes. But if you were to interpret my channel as like an education YouTube channel, like if you were to pit me next to like, you know, your sci shows or your like 12 tones or your like, you know, tier zoos and stuff like that, then I am quite spicy. If you think about it, you know, compared to like real life lore, my content is kind of less sellable if you think about it. So, yeah, being political is part of my job. Yeah, the thing is that you know, do you want to take that on to sell ads for things? And the answer is yes. They have Second Thought. Yes. Yeah, I think that Second Thought was one of the people who got me in, basically. Do I have a political revolution or historical revolution that I'm particularly fascinated by? Yeah, I did a video on it. It was the Paris Commune. Because it seems like basically modern left-wing politics was basically born in the Paris Commune. And we're still sort of, like, the left's major disagreements seem to begin there and seem to still be based on that. Tristan's the Cajun dirty rice of education YouTube. Yeah, that's been probably the awkward part about Step Back and why it's been so hard for the channel to grow. Because, like, compared, like, I don't want to get too navel-gazy, but Step Back started around the same time as H-Bomber Guy. It's older than ContraPoints. And, like, it has, like, an age on par with, like, you know, like, Folding Ideas and stuff like that. But my channel is obviously nowhere close to those stratospheric success stories. The reason being is because I feel like I awkwardly straddle being too politically outspoken for education YouTube and too educational and disconnected, like not trying to really be personal and emotional like leftist or activist YouTube does. And so I feel like I'm just not enough of each for either, and it leaves people not knowing what to do with me a lot of the time. And the people who overlap both of those areas of YouTube are you know, a small audience, because there are people who want to watch, I mean, internet breadtube has kind of just turned into like, you know, WWE SmackDown, but with political debates, and I don't fit in that at all. And education YouTube is, you know, you want to like appeal to teachers and brands and schools and stuff like that, and I don't do it that often either. Although I do get a weirdly large amount of traffic from like school intranets and stuff like that, where people are using my videos in like lecture notes and stuff like that, which I think is very interesting. I feel like this channel is too politically outspoken to be part of education YouTube. Yeah, that's probably true. But also, I'm too educational for politics YouTube too. And I also don't care about making videos about PragerU, and that also hurts me. Is it wrong that I don't trust the assertion that Poilievre won't win the next election? The Trump won despite bad opinion polling. The same populist playbook has worked in many other places. There's clearly enough of a base to shut down the Capitol for a month, and frankly, I don't expect conservative voters to suddenly start giving a shit about anything other than property values and owning the libs. Yeah. I fully expect that Poilievre is just going to be the next prime minister. Like, Trudeau he's got a bad reputation. He's been prime minister for a very long time. Like, he's been prime minister for like 7 years now. He's not well liked. He's very openly corrupt. He's not even that, like, there's conservative and left leaning wings of the Liberal Party that don't even like him. And I think that, yeah, the conservatives have all they've needed is to just have one person who offers their hooting hog mass like followers enough red meat to do that with, and they went for it. I think they went for it. The other thing too is that the Conservative Party just needed somebody who wasn't openly bigoted against French people, because there's like a growing right-wing nationalist movement in Quebec, that they could get enough Quebec seats to take Parliament. They've already been getting more votes than the Liberals for the last 2 elections. They've just been losing due to first past the post shit. So yeah, I don't. My guess is that Poilievre is going to reinvigorate the Conservative Party, and that that the next election that gets called, Poilievre is probably going to win. Luckily, though, probably specifically because of that, there will be, I hope anyway, that Jagmeet will not push the NDP, because the NDP would basically be required to have a vote of non-confidence to have an election. So hopefully Jagmeet Singh will keep to this like weird alliance the NDP and the Liberals have right now to keep Poilievre from running until, I guess, like, what's the earliest they could go, or the latest they could if they don't have a vote of non-confidence, then this government could last until theoretically 2025, I guess. That alliance might hurt the NDP long term. Yeah, unless the NDP starts getting goods from the deal, it's not going to help them in the long term, that's for sure. But otherwise, like, I feel like that they're making the political calculus that is accurate, that you'll have more luck with a Liberal than you will with like fucking Poilievre as prime minister. So we'll see where things go. Canada's political situation is complicated right now, and honestly, a lot of Canada's future rests on what Jagmeet Singh does in the next few years. So we'll see. All right. Since I'm a technology historian, what is my actually I don't have enough time to answer this question. Yeah. Where's Mia? Mia only comes to every other stream, and she was here last week, so she'll be around next week, I hope, unless something comes up. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I actually have to go because of baby stuff. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to answer any more questions. No, I know. But I should be back for a regular-sized stream next week. But I haven't gotten rid of your question, Pim, so your question will be in my next stream. So hang tight. I'll get to it next time. So yeah, so let me let's I'm gonna wrap up now. But yes, so sorry to do that early, but let's go raid Lumiru, because Lumiru is good people. They are pretty fun. And yeah, sorry to duck out early, but yeah, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll see you next Monday. Sorry.